get priced out if you don't take action today. Now, I'm in the business for close to 20 years, I think, 1 year in the previous agency. So this is a very common question that I see a lot of people say, Bob, I want to wait. So I ask them actually, what are you waiting? I really ask what you waiting. So they'll tell me things that I'm not ready, my money is not ready, I don't have money, which is very common. I don't have money. They always say that. And then they will start to tell me like logistic issue, parents issue, too young. And also one very common thing I realized is that among their peers, all their peers are not investing. So you see, when your peers are not investing or you're not in the right group, talk about property investment, it's very normal. It's very normal that you will say, oh, this is not for me. And of course, during my time, we are still at the era knowing that after we work, we need to buy a property. After we buy a property, we get married. This is kind of like a standard. Just like, when you work, you need to pay CPF. It is the same. But we see a change in trend nowadays. A lot of people start to say that, Bobby, I think, or some people call me Uncle Bobby or Coco Bobby, they say that, I think properties are so expensive. I think I can no longer afford. When I hear this, it really hit my heart. I just say, why will you end up saying things like this? Because they start to look at their salary together with what they have. They start to say them, I cannot afford. So that is something I realized, the power and importance of education. Because in reality, if you ask me in the real world today, if you ask me, buying property is not difficult. But not knowing the knowledge will make it very, very difficult for you. I repeat, buying property is not difficult, but not knowing the knowledge is very, very difficult for you. So what we are doing today, we're doing educations. We want you guys to make sure that you have the right insights. And every of the thing I say, it can be, some of them can be fun, some of them can be a joke, but everyone have his own accents because that's what I do for a living. I want to share what my knowledge is, and I help my customer to actually relocate their properties. We reposition their property as well. And most important, we encourage our consumer to stay invested. It's very important. For those people, perhaps, this is a consumer seminar. I mean, some of you are actually consumers, or maybe you're first timer, second timer, that you want to buy property. And please, whatever I say is going to be very important to you, especially on the calculation part. And what I'm really concerned about is, will you guys get priced out if you don't take action? Now, I know it sounds like another salesman trying to talk, but on the later part, you may and agree, or perhaps you have questions to ask me, why do I have this concern? Right. So just a disclaimer, whatever I share is basically some information from the background. It's only for the property market, more like an analysis and for educational purposes. Please don't take my content too hard on me, okay? So it's not meant to sell anything. All right. First, the question is your money working hard for you? Now, is your money now lazy, or is your money hardworking? Now, this is an important question. So let me try. Now, let's type. If you think all your money is working very, very hard for you, less CPF. Don't tell me, oh, my money is working hard for me because it's sitting on CPF. Yes, when the market sits in CPF, yes, the money is working hard for you. Okay, now help me. If you think that all your money or majority of your money is working hard for you, can you type yes? If you think most of your money, what you have, even savings, they are not working hard for you now, sitting there doing nothing, you type no. Come, let's try. Who feels that your money is really working hard for you? Yes or no? It's just a two. So for those no one, I think we need to stay focused. Those are not typing is because you got too much money or what? No money. Okay, let's try. Who feels that your money is working very, very hard for you now? Okay, good. Don't be shy. Continue. Now, this is a very very important question, because when I work with my customers, I will talk about money. I won't talk about all the real estate stuff, because in the real world, as long as when I'm in the business, I realize that a lot of people run away from this question. They run away. So they have the money, or maybe they lose control of the money, or sometimes is they lost track of their money. So end up they kind of like get a little bit worried. It's like, okay, so where's my money? And when they don't have, they feel inferior. So there's nothing wrong, guys, ladies and gentlemen, to really talk about money. And property investment is really, really, really talking about how you manage your money. So if ever you talk to any of the salesperson and you trust the person, now you need to talk money with them. So no point, really, it's really no point for you to go through viewing by viewing, appointment by appointment. But at the end of the day, you do not review certain part of your financial standing, because that is the root to the whole investment itself. Okay, so Now, so where do you keep your money? I really hope you guys are not keeping your money in a Milo Kong. If you put your money in a Milo Kong, jialat already, I tell you. So we must be actually investing our money. That's why actually I always talk about staying invested is extremely important. So some of them will choose to do this called, I know, time the market. Wow, the market sweet and go in. So generally what the saying goes, do you buy to wait or you wait to buy? So it's really up to you. But that goes down to an article of a lady. I think it's just like maybe 44 years ago, they have $1,200 they kept in the bank and they forgot. Like 44 years later, with bank interest, they only give them $2,684. So this is what happened after 44 years later. Now, do you know property investment? Sometimes when you buy the right property, okay, of course, not anyhow buy lah. We are talking about, I don't know, 5 years, you can easily have a turnover of $300,000. And if you look at track records on the later part, which I will show you the kind of products that if you touch that product, okay, you'll be making three, four, six, or even $700,000 just because you put the money in the right Milo Kong. Okay, you didn't do much with the money. It's not that you make the money exercise, you know. You just put in the right Milo Kong, the things will change. Okay, so it's really important to stay invested. So what are the types of property that we should be looking at? So with that, I'd like to talk about a case study. Now, this case study is really meant for those people, maybe right here, you are first timer, or maybe you just graduated, or perhaps you want to get married, fiancé. So as much as how I started when I was young, same thing, I went through the same process. So Aaron and Billy, they're childhood friends, same age, same school, everything the same, same university program, okay? And even they found the same job at the same company. So rightfully, you know, everything's the same, right? Life should also be the same, then beside health, beside health. So actually, they went together and both of them also decided, let's go and start the business together. But the thing about Aaron here is he has a vision. He said that, you know, I think I want to start off with my first property. I want to buy a landed. Of course, landed 不够钱, not enough money, right? So they said, no problem. So he started to go down one level lower. Let's go and buy private property. The private property also not enough money because just started work. No choice. So next thing he move on, I will start on an EC. Okay, so he started an EC. So then the other Billy says that no. I just started work. I think I start small. Okay, I want to start a BTO. So there's nothing wrong with that. Both of them got married and they start to move together the journey, one with the EC and one with the BTO. So during the first 5 years, Aaron, who actually stays in the EC, fully enjoyed the facility, resort style, swimming pool, and he invited the extended guests and family, come to the friends, you know, gathering, go to what I call that, the clubhouse. And the children also actually gets to work or work with or play with people of the same network group. Now, Billy had to bring his children down to community center, facility, neighborhood for sport art classes. And at the same time, I know he's traveling. But of course, really do not pay as much mortgage compared to Aaron. So that's the difference. So 5 years later, so you know, property 5 years later, but both of them, by the way, FYI, gotten a grant. Both of them, because being a first timer, they also get grant. But 5 years later, Aaron is now exploring different options because he realized that whatever he invest, boom, he made a lot of money. And now he's into the second level, what we call the asset progression. 5 years later. So they started at 23, now at 28. So Aaron and the wife started to build and to start to look into buying bigger property or even to buy multiple property. However, Billy did not make the money in his BTO. Why? Because the capital appreciation is insufficient to buy the property. But they do have the same income, they do have the same work, the same bonus, but just that he put the money in the BTO. So now Billy now is saying, I want to upgrade into an EC, but now, because he have already bought a BTO, he realized that he need to pay a levy, and of course, he also will lose the first 30,000 grant. Okay, so that's the story for Billy and Aaron. So now, ladies and gentlemen, you hear the story, and this story might resonate to some of you guys because it actually is really part and parcel. Now, given a choice again, what will Billy choose 5 years ago? If everything is the same, everything has the same start. Okay, so if you were Billy, you choose the BTO, and now you look at your peers, hey, they got easy, and now boom, they make money. Yeah, you also make money, but you don't make as much as them. Now, give me some of the reason. Guess why do you think Billy did not go for the EC? Come, help me to type. Give me some reasons. Why do you think that Billy did not go for EC, but instead he went for the BTO? Come, help me. What do you think? Not enough money for down payment? Okay. Fear. Oh, nice. I really wish there'll be more people giving me prudent. Yes, very good, very good. Prudent, fear, not enough money for down payment. In fact, guys, ladies and gentlemen, wherever we are actually on the show flat, when we meet people, we ask the same question. Why would you want to pay for the BTO where you can go for an EC? And that's your entitlement. And when I ask them, there are various different kind of reasons. So we got fear, not enough money, prudent, wanted to pay low mortgage. Okay, will think BTO will appreciate more than EC? Okay, good point, because it's cheap, correct? Hey, last time when I buy my BTO, I buy 200,000. When I sell 410,000. Guess what? 100% capital appreciation. Wow, then I should be a very smart investor, right? But that was last time. Low quantum, easy point to enter and exit. Don't want to top up cash for a mortgage. Okay, very good. These are very, very good questions. I want you guys to continue to type. Later, if I have time ahead, because I address all these things. Now, the reasons why they do not want to go into a BTO, as what you guys have typed on, these are all the valid reasons. But one of the reasons they really, most people, we did not go into the right product is because they don't know the game well. I want you guys to type this word called game, G-A-M-E. I want you guys to know the game well. Okay, now you like it or don't like it, ladies and gentlemen, life will still goes on. You still get work. Those who want to get married, those who have earned your money, it's really how you play the game. Okay, a lot of time, including myself back then, I always remember before I become a real estate agent, I'm lucky and blessed that today I'm well taken care of by the company. But when I started real estate business, before I start, my mom told me this. My mom said that you should what? You should go and become a McDonald's floor manager. I said, why you want me to be a McDonald's floor manager? And she started to tell me that real estate is a very unsecure job, not stable. You should not do all these things. Who knows that you might lose every single thing? What if you can bring money home? I was very upset. So I told my mom, you know something, I haven't tried. Why do you stereotype me? Then my mom said, that's what I did. That's what I did. Because of this, look at me. She was with McDonald's for close to 30 years. She worked for McDonald's for 30 years, by the way. So she said, that's what she did. And that's how she raised us up. Now, the word is because that's what she did. And that's how she raised us up. So because of that, she had the stereotype to feel that, perhaps even the son won't be able to sell real estate or property. So again, I went against the odds. I told my parents, I think I want to try. Can you give me some form of encouragement? So because of that statement, I've been doing real estate for almost 20 years. So you see, it's really, really important when our circle of friends and maybe even our family, our own parents might say things like, maybe this is not meant for you, it's too expensive. Or some people might tell you, 没有啦，太贵了啦. Are you sure you can afford? Now you will hear all these things. And that is the reason that because you don't know how to play the game well. So you see, the minute you master the game, it is different. And if you have gone through all the seminar and all the gurus in the market, or if you talk to any of the PropNex agents, you realize that the one who know the games well have a competitive advantage. Okay, so today what we are here to learn the game. But of course, this short 20 or 30 minutes, I won't be able to teach everything to you guys, but please continue to work with us, PropNex agents, be the friends of PropNex, talk to our people, and we will show you how the game is being played. Okay, so before that, let's look at the different kind of properties in Singapore. Now, this chart is very important. And please take photo, take photo, snapshot, burn and drink. Like the burn and drink, no, please don't do it. But you need to know, so what are the ways and what are the types of property we have? Let me bring my highlighter. Okay, come, let me try. This one is my laser pointer. Okay, good. So we have BTO, Singapore property, we got BTO. we got EC, we got private condo, and we have resale HDB. There are four main sectors. But you know what I did was I did an overlay for you guys. If I say a BTO also, and with the EC in between, these are the growth category. If you buy an EC, with the BTO in between, it's normally affordable and is better for first timer. So we made that for you. Number two, if you buy something like BTO between a resale HDB, okay, generally, especially when you buy a resale HDB, the unit is larger. However, there's no facility. You have to take note here. Then if you compare a private and a resale HDB, well, normally private are more expensive. Okay. So of course, if I continue, I think the chart will further explain by himself. However, that this part about called grants. So this is the part. If you buy a EC, you got grant. You buy BTO, you got grant. And you buy a resale EC, you also can get grant. All right. So I want you guys to know this. Okay. Because normally when we do a property analysis or we do a fact finding for our customer, we tend to let our customer know these are your options. But the next slide is actually very important. I won't go through this, but I just want you guys to touch and go. When you buy a BTO, what are the subsidies? What are you entitled for? Like if you want to buy, you'll be under the HDB ownership. What is the income, loan type? Okay, they're all here. So please take this as a guide. This is actually the same deck I did for the earlier workshop. Okay, that we did at Marina Bay Sands. But this is good enough so that you know if you go to take a BTO or EC or condo, what are your options and you need to look on. And the other one will be investment opportunity. Now, that's the part. You see, when we want to put our money into a Milo Kong, which one? It is actually recommended to put on something which not only you can stay, at the same time, you can enjoy the benefits. Right? We are talking about capital appreciation. So that's the part, we're talking about investment opportunity between a BTO and an EC. EC has a higher investment opportunity. Of course, there are some setback, guys. If you have income more than 16,000, you won't be able to buy. But if it's 16,000 plus $1, $2 or $50 or $100, the existing cost subject to approval by the HDB. So therefore, with all the products, these three, BTO, EC, and condo, now, a lot of people choose EC because they realize that EC actually kind of like capitalize the most. He has one of the higher return. But nothing's wrong because we do have people just now who mentioned they want to go for BTO because they have fear. But the answer is because they don't know the game yet. Okay. However, if you can afford, then later part you realize that when you put your money in an EC, what kind of returns you'll be getting as well. Okay. So these two sides, please take a snapshot. This is important. Take that as a guide. Okay. Next. Buying Lexus at the price of a Corolla. Wow, this is really like, if you can spend little money and buy a good car, okay, it is the same. Why do we say so? Now, because EC itself, remember, EC itself, it is a subsidized condo by the government, but the minute EC completed 10 years, it get 100% privatized. That means the behavior, how does it work, who can you sell to, is exactly the same like a condo. So you just need like 10 years. After you get the key, you need to stay for 10 years, and then that is how it works. So one thing about for people who actually buy EC, okay, is that after you own a city, if you all remember Aaron just now 5 years later, because he has made money, but later I explain to you how much he made. Now, EC tends to have a very, very strong capital appreciation. It's all because the price is pegged to the OCR market, outside core region. Okay, but any of the EC owner, those who really choose who buy EC, remember, guys, once you are in, okay, you will wait for an MOP. Once you wait for MOP, there are 4 options you can go to. Number 1, decouple. Now, I'm not advocating everybody should be, I want to buy multiple property. There are people who don't like to own multiple property. Okay, the reason is because it is troublesome. It requires a lot of loan take-ups. You have some people really, really even don't like to go and manage their SORA rates. They just want to buy something, put that, and they don't think about it because they are not interested. But they are not interested in buying real estate, but they know they need to buy for own stay. So owning multiple properties requires a lot of work. Sometimes you need to buy, you need to sell, you need to rent. When the price is not good, you also need to work on it. If you rent, you have to deal with tenants. So it is not true that in my experience of the business, everybody wants to have multiple property. Really, really not true. Some people, they just want to focus on one good one. Okay, the bigger you buy, the better the capital appreciation as well. So remember, it's not true that everybody, the angle should be multiple property. Because there's a second group of people who actually, after they own an EC, 5 years later, MOP, they decided, I want to lease for passive income. Now, this is the part which is interesting. Now, the reason is because, number one, when you lease a EC out for rental, you are still paying a private condo rate. People don't take into consideration, oh, because you're EC, I'm going to charge you lower. Sorry, I'm going to pay you lower. Actually, it doesn't work that way because of the facility, the facade, the finishes as well. So EC normally have quite strong passive income in terms of you as well. Okay. Number three, some people will say, I want to sell EC, I want to just downgrade or upgrade. So this goes to one of my client, true story. So my client now stay in Pasir Ris, big sea view executive apartment. And he actually owns one property in District 9. And he started buying an EC. So his life is very simple. He and the wife, everybody starts a HDB, but he started with an EC because we feel that he's entitled and his income, he knows that he back then is affordable to do so. So after he sold, he made money, okay, quite a lot. I think about 600,000 or even more. Then from there, he shift and buy a EA and get the property fully paid. And back then, the policy was much easier. So he split the names and then bought a unit in District 9. That's it. Good enough. So today, I think because he's still working, progressing very well, so he is now looking to buying a commercial property. So if it's successful to buy a commercial property from EC down to buy a EA, then full sea view, buy one for rental, and now he's going to buy the other one for investment because he doesn't want to pay the ABSD. Okay, so guys, you know why I share this with you? It's no rocket science. It's really no rocket science. But one thing about this family, you shall know them, is because among their peers, they are friends who talk about property. So he is actually within the network. Now, I do have another group of friends who actually they don't believe in property. Just like some of the people who don't believe in insurance. So no matter what I say, they will say, can meh? I got money. And that goes down to another very funny story. So this one goes down to one day I was really just having a roti prata with my friend. So my friend telling me, hey, Bob. I said, why? I got money under buy watch. I said, how much is the watch? He told me 40,000. I said, you got 40,000 can do that. You can do down payment. Why will I to buy watch? Why don't you just buy a property? And he says that no lah, I where got money buy property. I say no. Wait. Before you throw your money and buy watch, right? Let me do some calculation. Now, long story short, yes, he can buy property. And back then, right, the property value which I helped him to buy was 890,000. And what he needed was a 5% cash, which is about 40,000. So from there, he got a property instead of a watch. Okay, guys, these are real and true story. Okay, especially the first timer. If you have not heard of this story, I hope this story will inspire you. But of course, for those who are second, third timer or very experienced investor, please pardon me. Today, the level of my consumer seminar is really meant for first timer and HDB upgrader. But sometimes if you see me like on other consumer seminar, maybe some of the products, I will elevate the education of it so that you guys can benefit more. So I apologize if you find these two fundamentals. Okay, last part, sell and downgrade. So these are people who actually buy ready, make money, buy small unit, sell and downgrade. This one go in line with the recent policy that they allows you to sell. Okay, so these are the 4 things you need to do. If you're going to buy a product easy and you're going to make money, these are your 4 options. And is your money working hard for you? And just some of the numbers that we can show you. Okay, so let's say Treasure Crest. Okay, these are the people who actually make 400 over 1,000. Okay, just by buying an EC and they sell. Next thing, North Wave, 100 over 1,000 and so acre. Then next you might be asking me, Bobby, how come there is a big difference? All EC, but some make 100,000, some make 400,000. So there is a big checklist. There's a big checklist where you want to put your Milo Kong. So if you choose the right place, of course, you make the money. And this is the part you have to stay behind because on the later part, the second presenter, also an investor himself, Jeremy, will be sharing with you his tips and tricks on how he actually choose the right property. Okay, so what do you do after you buy an EC? So I give you an example. So when you put the money in the right place, so these are actually properties which I do attract using our props properties which were bought 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So you see, if let's say you are somebody who bought 10 years ago, so let's say canopy, you would have made up to 450,000, 443,000, etc. Okay, so this if you put your money at the canopy. The next thing will be one Canberra. So again, you put your money on one Canberra, the highest would have made is 755,000. Okay, 500 and 700, 712, 750, 678, and last and not least, City Life at Tampines, 760,000, somewhere here, 740,000 and 736,000. So we see that's the difference. So what's my message, guys? So my message right here is it's very important to know where you put your money in the right Milo Kong. You cannot put it in the wrong place, But it's not wrong if you put at the wrong place. But if someone will teach you how to play the game, if you put at the right place, I think that will give you a very, very strong advantage compared to others. All right. So that goes down to this slide, which is extremely important. So I shared the information from Power Search. Now, Power Search is one of the tools. It used to be, it's something that I use since my day one of the business because it has data up to 1995. Okay, it's very powerful because nowadays, even you find data on the streets or maybe like other portals, maybe they give you 10 years, maybe they give you, I don't know, 12 years, or some even 5 years. But this have the data up to 1995. So when I do the search, right, what I did was I just do the last 2 years. Now the OCR per square foot. The first one here is the average of the OCR prices. So it's about 2001. And here OCR, the highest transacted OCR is 2008. So who is this guy? No other than Jaden. All right. So of course, in this location, it falls under the OCR category, average to 1, highest to 8. Now, RCR is the rest core region. And the average, lowest average is 2004. The highest has already hit and transact. Meaning so you go and find transaction is there. Okay, 3001. Now, CCR is 3000 average and 5000 plus highest. So I want you to remember this number because you like it or don't like it. This is called the ripple effect. You cannot run away from this, like gravity. You don't say that when I jump down, there's no gravity. There's no such thing because Singapore property is a ripple effect. You like it or don't like it, it's going to be like this. Now, some people tell me, Bob, you know something? I think the price will drop and these people will suffer. Ha 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 ha. Don't tell me this. But here's the thing. These people, they don't just buy. Everybody don't just buy or because what they have saving 25% down payment and go or 75% loan. Many of these people, especially from an OCR, RCR, and CCR, they upgrade by using other people's money. So in other words, they buy, trade, sell, buy, trade, sell, buy, trade, sell. So maybe by then when they reach CCR, do you know that their loan is only 20%? Only 20%. Okay, so for those people who just started the game, ladies and gentlemen, that is the vision. That is where you want to hit. That is where you want to be. So remember, most of the ECs are located in the OCR area, most of them. And today, EC, for your information, is trading within 2003 to 2004. And if I will make a comparison to OCR, it's 2001 average and 2008 the highest. So you do the math yourself, okay? You do the math yourself. So now you may understand why people chong EC. You close eyes, they chong. Why? The numbers does not lie. So from here, we also see the gap for OCR to RCR is about $300 per square foot. And from RCR to CCR is about $600 per square foot. I'm talking about the average low, the cheapest average. I haven't talked about those who are like maybe OCR. There are some OCR transacted 2005. There are some RCR transacted 2008. There are some CCR transacted 4000, 3008, or like example, Pullman 3006. I'm just getting the cheapest average. I want you guys to feel it. That's the cheapest average. But if I use the higher number, which is already transacted, the number is going to be bigger. However, I just want you to feel the cheapest average. But of course, the next thing will be between an EC and OCR. 1003, 1004 versus The highest that we have is 2008. So can you see the gap? But even I move down to 2001, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2000, 2001. We are talking about today price, $700. So the gap is 700块. So if you have a 1,000 square feet, let's try. If you have a 1,000 square feet of $700 profit, how much will you make? Type. Who's good in numbers? If you have a 1,000 square feet of a 3-bedroom with a profit of $700 per square foot, how much do you make? Guys, key the number. Key shall be given. You key, you have. You don't key, you don't have. How much? Thank you. Thank you so much. For those people you don't dare to key, make one attempt. I want you guys to key. All right? Because that's a fact. 1,000 square feet, $700. We are talking about $700,000. So even though, let's say, a bot, don't be so bullish. How can we $700,000? Half, even I give you half, is $350,000. But as we can see just now, okay, we have seen before, EC normally they actually get more. But this is not the most scary part, ladies and gentlemen. On the later part, I show you in the future, there will be a lot of millionaires walking on the streets. I'll show you later. Okay. So there are several reasons, why how can I close it? So there are several reasons why EC should be your next housing choice. Okay. Now, of course, number one, no ABST to be involved in buying EC. You get a 35% LTV, even you own a HDB at the moment. So let's say today you own a BTO or maybe HDB, you want to buy a private. Okay. So let's say you never sell this one, never sell this guy, right? Okay. HDB, your second property you buy is considered a second property. So you have like additional buyer's stamp duty issue. And let's say now you say, Bob, I have not sell my HDB, I'm going to buy a private. The bank will assess you saying that, I cannot give you 75% because you have a second property. But this thing does not apply to EC. So what does it mean? People who got logistic issue, timing issue, money issue, transition issue, EC is the answer. If not, you have to do what we call sell first and buy later. Now, some people, they don't like to do a sell first and buy later because they don't like the pressure. Like after I sell already, I buy, they're so worried they run into impulsive buying, or after that, they feel I'm twisted. They always feel I'm twisted. They say, my agent twist me. Actually, it's not true. I mean, as much as we would like to, but sometimes they have no choice because their buyer who wants to buy their property want the property fast. So all this thing has to be communicated. But if we talk about EC, this thing does not exist. So the other thing will be money. Now, EC have this scheme called the deferred payment scheme, which you will not see in private market. So deferred payment scheme means that now you want to buy the property, you put 20%. So after you put 20%, you just wait. Okay, then you just wait. And then you can wait until when? Until key collection, 6 months before. Then you go and sell your HDB. Then you can bring the money over and then you shift. So this is the part why people actually look for EC, because EC clear all your logistical issue. And many of the property owners, they have this problem. I do not want to change. I do not want to sell because logistic is a big problem. No place to stay, my money not in time. What if I sell already? I cannot buy back property I like. So all these things has to be minimized when you choose an EC, which will give you big profits. So maybe now you understand why EC can sell so much. And even at the last launch, during the launch, somewhere in January before Chinese New Year, more than 50% was sold on the first day. That's how powerful it is. Okay, but EC is not for everybody. If you are entitled and yet you didn't go for it, I think your friend will scold you. All right, so let's understand this. Number 3, EC land are subsidized by the government, thus cheaper entry price. So when you buy property, there's a land. After land, you have to build, right? After build, then you sell. So the land itself normally easy. If you search, normally they are cheaper. But that does not mean when the developer buy cheap land, they will sell cheap, because there are other considerations like building costs, labor costs, finishes costs. Like some of them, they want to give more finishes or more character to the developments. They want to use bigger marble, things like that. So very much depend on which type and what kind of developers they want to deliver to you. So you still need to look into all these things. But generally, the land itself are much cheaper. Number 4, as per what I mentioned about around condo facility lifestyle classes, the last we had, the one I did earlier was Ola. Ola was also one development. They have in-house soccer coach, in-house ballet, in-house Pilates. So they have a lot of activities, and actually that's how normally you see most of them, they try to have this family community. Okay. Now, possible to have equity term loan on the next investment or the purchase, but HDB does not allow. So what is called equity term loan? It means that today, if let's say I'm going to buy an EC, after buy EC, on the later part, I make profit out of it, but I need money. I can tell the bank, hi bank, can you take part of my EC, give me cash. So I want the money to do a business. Example. Okay, so this is called equity term loan, but you can't do that arrangement with HDB. All right, so that's the part. One more plus point. Now, capital upside for EC is much better than HDB. Thus, it's perfect for entry couple who are thinking of multiple assets or one big asset at a go. So this is the part I'm talking about, the 4 strategies. Number last is EC is not for everybody. It's a privilege for only Singaporean can enjoy. And for those who are first timer, EC, you will also get the grant as well. Okay. All right. So will the price go up? I thought this so much. Will the price continue to go up, or you'll feel that the price will come down? Now, if you can still recall just how I showed the price of the OCR, RCR, and the CCR. Remember? Okay. So I will get 700 to 1,004. So would the price goes up or come down? So this is the part I want you guys to start to learn. This is important. All right. So EC, when you buy EC, you have to use a way to calculate your borrowing. Now, when you buy private property, we call TDSR, total debt service ratio. But if you buy EC himself, you use called MSR. Okay, so MSR allows you to have lesser borrowing. Okay, but over the years, when you buy EC before 2011, family income more than $10,000, you cannot buy EC. Then after they shift 2011 to 2015, if your income is 12,000 and above, you cannot buy. Then they shift to 14, followed by today we have 16,000. But very interesting thing I want you guys to show. This is year 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2011. Anything before is called 2011. So what happened is I kind of like just gonna play the numbers up. So I saw that in 2011, the average per square foot for EC is at $715 PSF, but about 4 years ago is 525. So there's an increment of $190. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 years later, okay, there is another increment. But this time round, right, they increase 2015 here is 12 here. No, 11 to 15 is 12,000. Then from there, you can see the PSF went up by $64 compared to here. Then, approximate about 1, 2, 3, 4 years later, the next jump comes in 2015 to 2019. But this time round, the average is here 1149 from 1806. The jump is $343. Okay, and 2019 onwards is 16,000. The jump is $202. Now, I want you guys to study this. The first thing, normally, just based on this trend and chart, normally, how many years does the government start to change this maximum household income? Averagely, after how many years you see there's a trend that they start to change the maximum household income? 4, 3 to 4, 3, 4, 5, good. So when the government changes the household income, why? It is because Chances is because property prices are getting more and more expensive under the EC policy guideline. Because the EC policy guideline, if they maintain that income, they cannot buy. Not enough money, correct or not? So there's the magic number 345, 345. So I do an average 4. Average 4. So as you can see, when the number got higher and higher, do you see, especially the last 2 years, the increment get higher and higher. Now, during this period of time, I was already in the trade. These were the time that the private condo HDB, the private condo price is very similar to EC. Very similar, almost side by side. These are the period. But today, as I showed you just now, the gap is huge. So I'm going to leave it for you to decide what will happen after the next increment of the income ceiling. Perhaps they move to 18,000. So once they move to 18,000, what will happen? There'll be more borrowings. So what does it mean? What does it mean there will be more borrowing? Okay, so this is what it means. So I'm going to give you a scenario. So example, now you want to buy a property. Your income is 16,000, max 16,000, and you can borrow up to 30 years. And that is what the policy says. Your borrowing can go up to $950,000 in consideration. Yeah, we are using the base on 4.5 medium interest rate. So this 4.5, okay, is what the government want us to calculate your risk based on a 4.5 interest rate. But when you go and buy a property, it will not be a 4.5% interest rate. So remember, 4.5 is only for us to do an assessment on you. But based on this formula, 16,000 maximum borrowing of 30 years. So how do you get 30 years? 65 minus your age. 65 minus your age. Then you know the number of years. So those people who are young one, please please do something. Do something. At least empower yourself with knowledge. Talk to any PropNex agent. Know your position, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not asking you to buy. I just want you to know your position. It's extremely important because when time passes, it does not come back again. All right. So back to here. 16,000, 30 years, long tenure, 950,000 K. So this is the borrowing. So just remember, I talked about this. What if it goes up to 18,000? So when it goes up to 18,000, let me find what's 18,000? Let's say here, 18,000, and they can go up to 26 years old. Or maybe 18,000 can be somewhere in between here. If you got 30 years, maybe it's somewhere here in between 1.1 to 1.2. Maybe 18,000 is at the center. So meaning say the borrowing, if it increase, the borrowing can go up to 1.1 million. So when the borrowing increase, if you are the developer, you know that your borrowing, you can borrow more now. Now you can borrow more. If you are the developer and you know that the government allows my future buyer to borrow more, you as a developer, will you sell higher or will you sell lower? Help me type. You are the developer. You heard the government says that I will allow you guys to borrow a little bit more from 950 to 1.1 million. Will you want to sell higher or will you want to sell lower? Come, let's try. Sell high. Sell high or sell very high? Guys, come on. These are real facts. Let's face the music. Anybody feel that, no, I'll sell lower? Why? I want to serve the industry. I want to make sure everybody have a home to stay. Yeah, you can type as well. I mean, fully respected. Anybody? Okay. So we know the numbers now. High, Prissy. High, Liang Chi. Okay. So now we know the numbers. So if it goes up 18,000, if it goes, which we also know that the game plan is about 4 years, which now is about 4 years, and things are really getting more expensive. The next thing is this. Okay, I need to explain slowly. Okay, so what is this? Now, this is the chart I created for easy understanding. You see the gray, guys? See the gray? The gray is the 950,000 of borrowing in assumption you are having 16,000 income and a maximum of 30 years loan. All the grade is 950. So if you plus everything here, is 950. So 950, 950, and 950. Okay, this is straightforward. So now you have the EC, right? Okay, so you, okay, me, you, and another friend, we all our income is 16,000. Our borrowing is the same. But me, I want to buy a 3-bedroom, 936 square feet. My purchase price is 1.33 million. So I need a 25% down payment. Okay. This calculation, I'm not including the stamp duty. I'm not including stamp duty because I'm using this as an illustration. If you sell, how much you'll be getting back. So you can add in the stamp duty yourself. So if I use a 1.333 million and I do a 25% down payment, my down payment is $333,250. This is my 25% down payment. But remember, my borrowing is 950. So if I have 950,000, my maximum borrowing, my down payment is $333,250. Now, this is the part I need to force save. I need to save money first. I need to find $50,500 to save inside my property. And this is the green color. This is the part. All right. Now, so far, before I continue, do you understand this? Help me to type yes or not sure. Do you understand this one? Before I move into the next one. So this is my borrowing. This is the down payment. This is, I need to do the forced saving. Without this forced saving, not enough money. Yep, it can be done in terms of cash or CPF. Yes. Don't go until so difficult first. Let's go until very simple. That means you buy, down payment, borrowing, in between there's a shortfall. Let's just do this first. Okay. So okay, I mean some of you guys understand. So this is actually you buy 1.333 million. So what if I go for a 4-bedroom 1152 1.623? Then you can see here my down payment 25% will be $405,000. Then my loan 950, but my forced saving I need to push in is $267,250. So this is actually for a what? A 4-bedroom. Of course, a 5-bedroom itself, more. So 2.093 million, then 25% down payment, forced saving $619,750. My borrowing is still the same. Okay, so now we answer this three things. Now I want you guys to imagine before I talk about profits, I mean, if you all remember just now, all the EC, what kind of profits are they doing? All the EC, 700, 600. Of course, you need to buy the right place, correct? Okay, but these are like last time, past transaction, 700, 400. So before you talk about everything, now, assuming I sell my 936 square feet, assuming I sell at cost to cost, or before my stamp duty, cost to cost, I will get back my orange, I will get back my green, I will get back these two before my principal paid in and before my profit. So assuming just now we go back $400,000, assuming. So it is reasonable for me to say I'm going to add in maybe about $350,000 to $400,000 here. Because we are talking about for me to sell this property 9 years later. You buy now, you build at 5 years later, MOP, 9 years later. And knowing the fact of my average is 1,004, where the OCR today is 2,001. My gap is 700. So if I do a math, okay, maybe 936 times 700, then roughly you know how much to put in. Okay, so what if I go for a bigger unit? What if? So if I sell cost to cost, I'll get back $673,000. If I sell cost to cost, before my profit. So assuming my profit is $700, I add here 700, which is 700K. My total amount possible I may get back, if everything is good, 1.3 million. But if I start to move here, oh yo, that's it really. Cost to cost, if I sell without profit, it's 1.143 million. Okay. Guys, remember $1,400 per square foot, where the OCR today is 2001. Now, with this, I'm confident. I'm very confident if we don't act, this group of people will come out in the market in 9 years' time. Now, imagine you are one of them 9 years' time. 9 years' time, you're one of them. Let's say you guys averagely buy the 4-bedroom. Okay, cost to cost, you will get back $603,000, assuming you sell at the same price. But of course, you sell at profit. You should sell at profit. Right? Let's say 2.1, $500,000. You will get back 1.1 million cash at CPF. You are 28 years old. 5 years later, 9 years later, 28, you are 38 years old. At 38 years old, help me guys. At 38 years old, if you got 1.3 million cash at CPF, what will you do? Help me to type. At 38 years old, you got 1.3 million cash at CPF. I haven't go into your promotion. I haven't go into you make money in a business. I haven't go into your progression. I have not talked about all these things. I only talked about you just put the money in this Milo Kong and you get 1.3 million possible in 9 years' time. What will you do? Further invest or define investment. Buy crypto. Must define. If you have 1.3 million at 38 years old, what will you do? Anybody want to buy landed? I have not considered your promotion. I have not considered your bonus. I only consider you put the money in the right Milo Kong. That's all. I have not considered the rest yet. Reasonably yet, I have not considered it. Travel around the world, Lin Wong. Hey, awesome. Hey, nothing's wrong. I respect it. Okay. Remember, you can sell, downgrade, buy a small one, and invest the money and travel around the world. Also good. Nothing wrong with that. Respected. Okay, so we can continue. So I really hope this chart will give you guys an idea. And when I look at all these things, it kind of like made me, oh my goodness, because you know what's the scary part? Affordability. Can they afford? Now, given everything the same, assuming 3 of us, like me, my friend, our loan amount is the same, So in another word, guys, all our mortgage are the same. Even I buy the big one or the small one, all our mortgage are the same. As long as I manage the forced saving. So it doesn't mean that you buy 2 million, you cannot survive, or you cannot, it's not true. And even like 4822 is based on a 4.5% interest rate. But as I mentioned, this is actually the guideline we do to qualify. But when we actually go and get a bank loan, it's 3 point something only. So in another word, the monthly installment can be about 4.2 maybe, 4.442. And if I break down this amount into interest and principal, honestly, rightfully the amount that you are actually really paying in the way that you don't get back is only like $3,560. This is the amount you don't get back. This amount goes back to reduce your principal. So what is this? If you would go and take $356 or $3,568, let's say you use this. So let's say you use this to go and rent a property. What can you rent? So for those people who are renting properties, and yes, you now know the game, and let's say your rental is at 4,000, 5,000. Have you ever thought of you could have used that money to buy a property, and at the same time manage the interest, and at the same time reduce the principal and allow your capital to grow? So I want you guys to understand this. Okay, so the scary part I realized about this is no matter how big you buy the property by EC, right? If I say everything is the same, everybody, the mortgage is the same. Okay, assuming all 16,000, and of course 30 years. But of course, if you are older and younger, then we talk about this. And who actually like this? So what are the difference between EC and private property? So some people will tell me, Bob, you know something, but buy private better. No, I'm not saying that private is no good, but EC are really meant really for people who prefer less risk and less savvy in investing and as an investor. Because sell, buy, trade, sell, buy, trade, sell, buy, trade may not be the game for a lot of people. But EC is a product. Even you don't trade, your money is preserved and even grow sometimes more, or in fact, most of the time could be more than private property. And it's not that easy to just buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, huh? Guys, a lot of consideration and hidden costs as well. But this one is one time chop chop, buy the right one, buy the big unit. Then 9 years later, you cash out, go for the bigger unit. So we have gave you an example, like 1.3 million perhaps, or even more. The bigger you buy, the better it becomes, right? And to give you more confidence, this is what I call the 1 million heirs on the streets. This property you see right here, it is called 100 Palms Residence. 100 Palm Residence, now people are holding only 5 years. Meaning say it's not MOP, but there are some transactions. I think maybe they got special approval. Take a look at how much they make. 713,000, 631,000, 548,000, and we are talking about size 883 square feet. 883 square feet, and this guy makes 713,000 with a special approval to sell. I believe it's a special approval to sell because he put the money in the right Milo Gong. And this one, not yet. So give you another 4 years, maybe 3 months later. What do you think the price is going to be? What do you think the price is going to be if I give you another maybe 3, 4 years later? Because that's where it officially MOP. So this is only the profit I have not considered what they're about to get back. So my question is, if you don't take action, will you be priced out? That's my concern. Will you be priced out if you don't take action? Do you know the game? All right. Now, this slide, I made a comparison between EC and OCR property. EC and OCR property, both brand new. In the last quarter, now this quarter 2024, first quarter, there is a gap, price gap of 39%. Yep, 39.5, close to 40% price gap. This is only today. But last quarter, because this quarter haven't finished, last quarter, the gap was 70.13%. AC prices and the OCR prices. So with this, I think we can all agree, convinced that if you own an EC, I would say the chance for you to make a wrong move is 0.00001. I mean, based on what we do. All right. So this is an important chart that you know why EC is the game for those people who are eligible. Okay. So with all these things, before I hand over to Jeremy, so I just want you guys to really ask yourself, will you get priced out? What happened 9 years later? So if 9 years later, when this group of people surface and we have already seen in 100 Palms, who are going to be your competitors? Are you going to be the one who's going to hold the 1.3 million or more to walk around and shop? Or are you going to be one who's going to choose and run after a unit because today you didn't take action? Okay, I want you to think about it. So with that, I end my presentation, and that goes into the second part, very important for those people who are in love with EC. And remember the gap, the what you call it, the forced saving. Who are the people who has the ability to do the forced saving? They are mainly the upgraders. So this is the part where Luminal Grand, okay, we are beside Teng, is going through our second balloting exercise, EX, for second timer. So what's called second timer? It means those people who already have a property, who wish to trade their property and use other people's money to go into an EC, this period is for you. So I'll leave this to Jeremy. So he's going to cover a little bit of this. What does it mean? And most important, he'll tell you which are the prime unit and the star unit that you need to look out for. So with that, I end my talk for the day, and thank you guys. Jeremy, to you.
All right. Thank you, Bobby. Wow, that was a very important session that we just had. There is something that I think that we really need to know about the big market picture. Okay, so for today's session, what I'll be covering, I'll be touching on some of the EC market, what is happening in the current moment, and what we can look for in Lumina Grand itself. Okay, so I won't take too much time. I will just go straight into our session for today. Okay, so before I get started, anyone wants to make a guess what is the highest transacted PSF for ECs as of this year? Go ahead and put it into the chat box. What do you think the highest transacted for former ECs is? Right? Is it 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007? CY 1007XX. 1007, yeah? In fact, that is what we have seen. The most recent one, I was quite surprised to see this. 21st November 2023, we have crossed 1756 PSF already. Right, so let me just pull that up. 1756 PSF. This is for a 4-bedder unit at Esperina. Right, so the case study that Bobby brought up just now, the units at 100 pounds is at 1677, and this is with special approval to sell. Usually, once they reach MOP, the prices will go up again. Right, so this is the kind of price points that we are seeing in the current time frame, 1006, 1007 PSF for the resale market, which means that translated, that is potentially 600K, 700K profits. For this specific case, for the Esperina owner, they doubled their money. They made 1.3 mil, 1.3 mil, right, of an 11-year holding period, a 12-year holding period, right? So that is something that we could potentially see as well because of the huge price gap in the current market. Okay, so let me just go ahead to get started. Some things that have happened in the past week. Just last week, the latest EC land was awarded, 14th February. This is just around the corner from us in Tengah. Land price is 701. So there are two land prices, land bids side by side. Both are 700 plus PSF. So what does this mean, right? If you look at the next couple of ECs, Tengah as well as Tampines, the TT ECs, these will both be above $700 PSF, which means we are now in a new price zone. So if you take a look at the history, right, from 2018 to 2020, land cost on average was about $500 per square feet. Launch prices, 1,000 to 1,350. At this present, before this present moment, right, 2021, 2022, land cost was about $600 PSF, and the launch price is 1,003 to 1,005. This is where Lumina Grand is. Okay, so this is where we are, right? But in future, just next year, we will now be in a new price zone where everything costs $700 and above. This is at least a 12% increase versus Lumina Grand. So what do you think prices would be by that time? And that's why a lot of people are looking at ECs in the present moment, because of this price gap, not just with the private market, but also with the future ECs to come. Okay, so when it comes to the private market, what is the price point difference? If you look at the recently launched developments in District 22, 23, just beside us, near to us, right? On average, what we are seeing, a 3-bedder would be about 1.7 to about 2.3, 2.4 mil, right? In fact, just today, I think there's a unit being done at Jaden for about 2.9 mil for a 3-bedder, right? So that means that for Lumina Grand, you are potentially looking at 400 to 800K savings. For 4-bedder, it's about 800 to 900K savings, right? And that's at the very minimum, right? So that's the kind of pricing gap, pricing difference that you get to enjoy at this present moment for an EC. Next, looking at actual units, same floor to same floor at the other developments, right? This is Lumina Grand, bottom is Lumina Grand, and then the top one is a private development, right? So compared with another development, right? This is in District 23 as well, 926 square feet. There's a 465K difference. Compared with a 4-bedder, both at 1270 square feet, right? There's a 631K difference, right? So this is very similar to what we touched on, right? $100 PSF price, 600 plus 700 PSF pricing difference over 1,000 square feet, right? This is the price difference that you see. And also for the 5 bedders, right? This ones, they are both quite similar. I've used things that are quite similar, 1496 versus something that is about 1005, right? And there is a 800 plus K difference. So if you notice, there's actually a increase in price gap for the larger units, right? For ECs, important thing to take note, these prices are artificially suppressed because number one, MSR, for affordability reasons, developers have to price lower. And number two, because ECs are subsidized housing. These are Corollas at Lexus at Corolla prices. All right. So have prices increased after the launch, right? For most developments, in fact, in recent times, we have seen prices increase immediately after the main launch. So in other developments, right, potentially in one day, you could look at 1%, 2%, sometimes even a 3% pricing difference from day one to day two, right? So in fact, if you look at prices, right, how it goes, day one launch price is a certain price, day two, it could be 1 to 3% higher. And then when it comes to the second timers, it could increase even further. But for us, at this present moment, for Lumina Grand, what's the pricing difference and what are some of the comparisons? That's what I'll be touching on next. So this is a development that was launched a couple of years back, right? For Park Greenwich, right? If you take a look at this particular units, these are both launch day sales. Both are launch day sales, right? So one thing that ECs would have, there are two payment schemes. One is normal payment, one is deferred payment, and there will be about 3.5 to 4% for this development. For Lumina Grand, the pricing difference is just 3%. Right? So in this case, because of a difference in payment scheme on the same day, right, there is a 3.5 to 4% pricing difference. So for ECs, it is actually quite normal to have a price difference between units, even those transacted on the same day, because of a change of a difference in payment scheme, where normal payment scheme is discounted versus the deferred payment scheme. Okay, so that's one thing that you need to take note for ECs. Second thing, when it comes to before first timer, right? When it comes to day one, day two, and second timer sales, what are the pricing difference like? Right. So let's look at this stack 22 in greater detail. Right. So if you take a look, this unit was sold on launch day. This unit was sold on the second timer, and this unit was sold thereafter. Right. So this one, what do you see? Right. We see that from day one to second timer, there is actually a 3% pricing increment. When it comes to the units, once you go later, right, post-launch, right, there is again another pricing increment. Okay. Next, for this other development, right, Altura, right, if you look at stack 18, how has pricing changed, right? So these both units were sold on launch day. You notice that there's actually a 5K difference for the 3 bedders. But the moment you cross to another day, right, 3 days later, National Day, right, when this unit was booked, there was actually a 3% pricing increment. So it is actually quite normal for most developments to increase prices on the second day by 2 to 3%. Another unit, another example, right? So in this case, for this 4-bedder, right, if you look at the prices on day one, you will see that it's about a 7K pricing difference between per floor jump. But because this unit was purchased later, right, so therefore there was also a pricing increment that was added to this. So in Lumina Grand, do we have a pricing increment? Right? In fact, for launch day cases, there was an $8,000 discount given off the list price. So there's a list price and there's an $8,000 discount. At this present moment, we have a $5,000 discount, which means that pricing difference launch day versus today is only $3,000. So it's not 2%, it's not 3%, it's $3,000. A very marginal difference. And that is why if you are a first timer looking at Lumina Grand, please do come in as soon as possible, because developer has already indicated that come the second timer preview, right? Come the second timer launch, there could be a difference in pricing. How much? We do not know yet, right? But if you're a first timer, do book in your cases as soon as possible. Yes, Tuntin, you are right. Different levels, different price, but for lower floors, higher price. That is what I'm also showing you. Lower floors, higher price. All right. Okay. So does floor level affect sales price when it comes to the resale market? There are some people who say that, hey, when it comes to choice units, I want the highest floor, right? And naturally so, because a lot of times for higher floors, there could be a difference in view. When it comes to Lumina Grand, no matter which floor you choose, chances are the difference in view will not differ by too much. So therefore, the floor level preference is really just what is available, right? And what might be suitable for you. Maybe you like a certain mix of numbers. So does floor level affect the resale prices, right? So when it comes to the resale market, right? Taking an example nearby, so acres, right? This is also from our PropNex investment suite. When it comes to high floor units, right? When it comes to high floor units, they have up to 20th floor. So for this case, 20th floor, they sold at 1.63, 646K profit. 10th floor, mid floor, 1.63 as well, 696K profit. And for the second floor, this was quite a surprise for me. Perhaps this was due to timing in the market as well, where when they sell it, they sold at 1.65 mil. And because they enter in at a lower price point, they were also able to enjoy slightly more profits, right? So important thing is that if you look at the selling price, there wasn't too much of a difference between second floor to the 20th floor. Okay, so that's for a 4-bedder, but you are asking for a 3-bedder, is there a pricing difference? If other developments, is there a pricing difference? So in this case, again, so acres for the first case, high floor, 12th floor versus third floor, right? One sold at 1.25, one sold at 1.23. But when you look at the profits, very similar, both about 550K. Next, Treasure Crest. When it comes to low floor, 4th floor, high floor, 10th floor, selling price 1.478 versus 1.5. Do you see how close the pricing difference is? When it comes to profit, almost the same, right? So that is why if you're looking at a unit at Lumina Grand, I would suggest that even for the lower floor units, those could be worth considering because you have a better facility view, number one, or for example, pool view, you might like that, right? And if you're going for units, right, that are on the lower floors, you do enter at a lower price point as well, right? But more importantly, if you want a high floor unit, at Lumina Grand, we do still have higher floor units available, including our penthouses for some of the unit types on our 13th floor. Okay, next. So this is what Lumina Grand looks like. I was just at Lumina Grand earlier today. Most of the blocks are up to 4th floor already. This particular block, block 17, I think they're up to the 6th or 7th floor already. So the build progress has been very accelerated. The neighboring development is still under construction. I think they're up to 2nd floor thereabouts, right? So for Lumina Grand, the build progress is ahead of schedule, which means that if you're looking at this development, you could potentially get your houses a little bit earlier as well. Okay. So a little bit of project information, 512 units, location at Bukit Batok West Avenue 5, just beside Tengah, meaning we take advantage of the Tengah transformation, but we are within Bukit Batok with the amenities, the convenience of Bukit Batok already, together with a new bus stop at the front of the development. So this is our site plan, right? In general, there isn't too much of a difference between the views, right? It's either a pool view, facility view, right? Or towards the surroundings. Distance-wise between the blocks is very similar. Only the blocks that are facing towards the front, they have a slightly longer block-to-block distance. Otherwise, it's all largely the same. Okay, so at this point, quite a number of stacks have been fully sold. If you look at those with red dots, they are units or stacks that have been fully sold. Stack means the -30, -29, -33, that whole floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor to 13th floor, right? these have all been fully sold, right? So we do have some limited stacks available, and the ones that are in blocks up, right? These are what we have identified as some good value buys. Why do we say so? Right? So this is our 3-bedder premium floor plan. You have seen this in the show flat itself. If you look at it, right, we do have some units available for the same price. That means what? 3-bedder versus 3-bedder premium at same price. I think this is the price point the developer likes. 1388 Yishen Fafa. So for units over here, this I think are very good value units because low floor to low floor, these are both low floor, second and fourth floor. Our fourth floor units and the second floor units are the same price. And therefore, you get a free upgrade to a 3-bedder premium for the same price as the 3-bedder, right? Do you think that's a good value, right? We get to upgrade for the same price, right? That is why we have identified this particular stacks, 5, 6, as well as 13, as great value buys because you get a free upgrade. Next, we do have a selection of pool view units available. They are mainly in stack 29. Since we did up this list, stack 30 has just been sold, right? That was 2 days ago. Stack 30 has just been sold, right? That is, so if you want a pool view unit, we are down to stack 29 for our 3-bedders. Okay, so it's the only stack that has a pool view for our 3-bedders. Next, our 4-bedders. For our 4-bedders, we've got 2 kinds. One is with a portrait style living room, and one is with a landscape style living room. For our portrait style living room, right, this will be what we'll be looking at, right? We are down to our final selection. We have a total of 9 units, 2 penthouses, 3 typical units, and 4 PS units. PS means that they are ground floor units lah. Okay, so for our 4-bedders, right, by and large, they are quite similar layouts. Personally, what I have identified, what I like, 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So you keep increasing, right? Why is that a good choice? Because for 0, 1, 2, 3, it does have partial views of the pool, right? So I've done it over here, right? 0, 1, 2, 3 as partial view of the pool, right? It has a lawn in front as well. And more importantly, if you look at the price point, compared with our other units, stack 20 and stack 28. Stack 28, by the way, is towards the tennis court. So if you want an open view, higher floors will be good. But if you're on the lower floors, on the ground floor, then there would be perhaps a little bit of disamenity, right? But more importantly, if you look at the price point, they are both almost the same. 1K difference between 4-bedroom 0123 and 4-bedroom 0128, right? Which means that 0123 is extra value because you get to upgrade to a pool view, right, without paying a premium. Okay, so 13th floor is also available for this unit, about 1.8 mil, right? And compared with stack 24, right, you do have some savings for stack 23 versus stack 24. By the way, for stack 24, they are actually just located side by side. So stack 24 has a slightly better pool view, right? And that's over there. Okay, next. For 4 bedrooms that are our landscape layouts, where are they? They are found over here. Generally, most of them would be pool view units. We do have some that are lawn views, which is 17, 18, and 15. So if it comes to the layouts, what are they like? They are very typical layouts, very normal layouts, nothing too unusual. In fact, this layout is very similar to the layouts that were found in Copenhagen, which is another development by the same developer, with one difference. In Copenhagen, they had a balcony in the master room. And when it comes to the kitchen, it was a slightly different layout, right? So since then, right, they have made it a bit more efficient. They've taken away this balcony in the master room, right, and orientated the kitchen a bit differently. And what are we looking in terms of pool view units, right? For our landscape style living room, we have stack 21, 22, right? 22 and 26 are actually same price. Okay, 22 and 26 is same price. They are also almost side by side, just one stack apart. Right, so it's just a matter of which one you might prefer, left side or right side. Okay, so this one's both about the same price, and floor levels depends on what you like. Okay, we do have one final unit of stack 21, that's the ground floor patio unit. Right, so if you want something that has direct pool access in front of the pool, in the middle, in the center, right, that would be a unit that you can take a look at. All right. So next, when it comes to lawn view units, stack 18 and 15 are actually similarly priced. But when it comes to stack 17, this is where it is priced at 43K higher than stack 18. But if you were to look at the view, right, 17 and 18 are actually just side by side, right? So if you want, you could potentially get stack 18 at a little bit of a pricing reduction versus stack 17. Okay, so these are some of our star buy units, right? So for us today, I won't be going into too much detail about the full list of star buy units. What you should do is to link up with your PropNex salesperson so that they can run through with you based on your budget, based on your price requirements or your facing requirements. They can identify the best units that are most suitable for you. Okay, so for today's session, right, at this point, we are going to take questions. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, right, it's a good time to ask. Okay, so okay, anyone has any questions regarding second timer, right? Price points. Okay, so for us, we are still running our second timer preview. It's on from now until the 26th of February. If you'd like to take a look at the show flat again, come on by to the show flat. We are open and you can submit your e-apps at the same time, right? Whether for buyers or for agents, right? For second timer, yes, there is a resale levy applicable, and this will be tiered based on the type of unit that you are selling, right? So again, it depends whether they've sold already or they haven't sold. So speak with your taggers to get a clearer idea of what the resale levy would be specifically. Okay, so for second timers, right, they will need to wait to the 2nd of March to book. But for first timers, and in fact, for first timers who could already own a HDB flat, because some people, they actually purchase HDB flat without grants, or some cases might be hybrid cases, which means one first timer and one second timer, you might be able to qualify for first timer, right? So do check in with our taggers, because that might mean that you would be able to purchase as a first timer, right? Depending on the scenario. So do check in with our PropNex salespersons. They can advise you whether you might qualify for a first timer, right? Not all people who have owned or are owning a HDB flat would be second timers. Okay, first timers can book immediately. Yes, that's right. Okay, so if you want to be part of the gang that purchases an EC in the current market and sells at a higher price point in future, do link up with any of our PropNex salespeople, right? And let us look at Lumina Grand. This is probably the only new EC launch for this year. We still have many choice units. We do have high floor units available, not just, and we also have got pool view facing. We've got units that are ground floor for ground floor lovers as well. So do come by, take a look at Lumina Grand. So if there are no further questions, I think we've come to the end for today. Thank you for joining us. Bobby, do you have anything to share?
Yeah, maybe I just okay, just to share with you guys, I mean ECs are unlike private properties. You know, normally private properties, when it comes to the okay, the first timer is over, right? Let's say after the first day, then people have this tendency saying that, oh, the rest of the units are not so good. But it's not for EC. Now, EC, what happened was because of the first day, they only allowed 30% of the second timer to buy. So what happened is back then we saw Jeremy, myself, Rodney, Tripping, we all saw there was a lot of the face of disappointment. And after they left, right, unfortunately, or fortunately, only the first timer can buy. So in another word, there's still a lot of choice unit, which generally the first timer, you know, is a better facing, but maybe their budget does not permit. So that's why second timer, if you are a HDB owner and you want to upgrade, you are in the best position because this is the time that you can actually use other people's money, which is you sell your HDB and upgrade to EC, and you can go for the better stacks and better facing as well. So please talk to any of our PropNex agents and get yourself like qualified to ask whether are you eligible for EC, because this is definitely a given product. Now, there's a few things that we foreseen. Number one, what if the government really going to increase the borrowing. So when that happens, does it mean that the developer will increase the price? Then at the same time, with the increase of the land prices of the next few plots, will the price in the future of the EC of this property be more expensive? And if that happen, what will happen to the developer of Lumina Grand? So actually, it's a chain effect, and I want you guys to take that into consideration. And I wish to see everybody in the show flat. All right.